Hello friends! In the video, we will briefly describe the events in August and also indicate what awaits us as a collective in the near future. Full moon will happen in Aquarius on August 12th and new moon at the 27th of August in the sign of Virgo. Let's mention a few important transits. The Sun is in Leo until August 23rd, then it will be in Virgo. Mercury most of the month in Virgo, Venus until the 11th in Cancer, then in Leo, Mars until the 20th in Taurus and then in Gemini, Jupiter will be retrograde in Aries, Saturn is retrograde in Jupiter is already retrograde in Aries as Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius, and then Uranus will from the whole month will be at the 18th degree of Taurus, and from the 25th of August will also be retrograde. Neptune and Pluto are also retrograde. So as you can see, from August all of the major planets will be retrograde, which means that we are going back, we are re-experiencing something we have already experienced. We are learning from something that happened in the past, maybe even repeating old mistakes, that's possible. I made a video about Uranus in Taurus in a retrograde movement in August 2021. If you want to see the meaning of Uranus in Taurus, especially the power of it when it's retrograde, of unfortunately also negative power of it, then you can see my video. The name is Sturm und Drang, August 2021. Also, there is my video on YouTube that I have recorded at the end of July 2022. And this is the video about the conjunction of Uranus and Rahu, very significant event. So I talk about that event there, and then I said that this conjunction of Uranus and Rahu is exact from the end of July until the 10th of August, but we will feel it for a long time, even 6 months. Rahu is that north node in Western astrology, and that's what Indian call Rahu, like the north node or the head of the dragon. So, in short, let's speak here very shortly. The conjunction of Uranus and Rahu means that everything will turn for the 180 degrees, especially in all of the areas that are symbolized with Taurus, which is the world economic or relationships in economy, in general the field of finances, that because of these economic and financial changes, there will be changes of the borders of certain countries. So there is going to happen, some new agreements will happen that will divide the world in different spheres of interest than it was before. It is quite certain that the world economy will function in maybe after 6 months, or maybe even earlier. We start functioning on completely different principles. And that is something that many creators of this house, these very powerful people, don't want to expect. If there is a change, they want to create the change, but they are not anymore in the position to create the change. And that's why they will, again, make a big pressure on humanity. They are now again speaking about lockdowns and these kind of things. And this is also emphasized by the full moon in Aquarius. That will happen in August. In my video lesson Lunar Nodes and the Eclipses on the Taurus-Scorpio axis, I talk about that, how this conjunction influences every zodiac sign, but this video lesson is in Serbian and in Czech language, and unfortunately I don't have it in English. As you know, I don't have that much material in English, but I know that many people who watch my videos in English speak some Slavic language. So if you can understand any of those Slavic languages, you can find this video lesson on my web pages that are, the name of those web pages is symbolicthinking.net. I will remind you that in the video from the end of July about Uranus-Rahu conjunction, I said that this conjunction actually means something about modern technology. In general, everything that is artificially created, that is not created by nature, and that is even strange or unusual, somehow belong to the symbolics of Uranus and Rahu. Our current modern technology includes satellite control, computer or digital control, using nanotechnologies for climate change or for causing mass diseases. This modern technology includes chipping people by using various methods that they don't tell us about, and so on and so on. I'm not an expert in this. I don't know what this conjunction can mean exactly, because I'm not an expert in those technologies. I hardly understand what is really happening, as many likes. But I personally think that there must be a change in the era of these new technologies. Either the satellites and computers that run the world will be destroyed, or somebody will just press the right button and they will stop, or the almost total control will really be established and people will be imprisoned. Must be some of those extreme situations. The question is what we will see and what we will know about this, but because nobody tells us the truth. We already live in virtual reality to a large extent. Money is virtual, the economy is also virtual, the news talk about some virtual fiction world that does not have anything with the reality, any news. Diseases are virtual, and so on and so on. However, I think that the world will soon become very real and tangible for many, and that this idea or this project of total control will fail. Although we are not far from a realization of the plan of the total control. Just think about that, how many chips, passwords, and so on you need now to buy anything or to do anything, either with your credit card or at the internet. It is almost impossible to buy a plane ticket because they constantly check who you are, your address, which telephone you use. You write the code on your telephone to pay, or these kind of things. And why would they do this, Well, this is how they created the informative field, as it is said in political sciences. So they have prepared people for many years already that they need to have one passport. And they prepare people by constantly telling them that someone can abuse their personal data on internet or someone else. So people are afraid of this, and many will be very happy to have just one code, which is their personal, and nobody else can have it. And how do you get the code? Well, you get the code if you get their injection. This is very dangerous, and it's already happening. This is not the fiction anymore. This is already happening. This is a very possible version of our world, and one should not hope that he can hide somewhere from this system. It is completely impossible. The system that they want to create must be total. So the crucial thing is actually here to understand that people must overthrow the government and overthrow the system. This is the only way. The peak of August is the period around the full moon, which will take place on August 12th in the sign of Aquarius. Every full moon in Aquarius affects masses of people, some large groups of people. And it will be the same now also. Sorry for this. However, this full moon has many difficult aspects. I'm sorry to say that. It's good that this is also the culmination of something. It's not just the beginning. It is the climax and the end of something, but just we need to go through certain process. It's not, oh, it's a full moon and that's the end. No, things will last for a few months. While the moon is in Aquarius, it will be in conjunction with Saturn. And both of these have heavenly aspects to the sun. They're in opposition to sun. So what could that mean? This first means that the people are limited, Saturn, moon conjunction. And it also means that their freedom is limited. And the later opposition to sun means that people are in opposition to the rulers. They are opposed to each other. And even people are accepting the role of the shadow. They allowed some people who rule to project their shadow on people. Further, we see that both the sun and the moon are squared by Rahu, Mars and Uranus, which are in Taurus. So what does this mean? It means that the fight between these two parties, ruler and people, is necessarily, but it does not happen spontaneously. Either somebody have to make it artificially, some fight or revolution, or it will simply go hard. It will manifest in a difficult way. Because the square always means spasm, limitation, and obstacle, which must be overcome in order for development to occur or for knowledge to be gained. So will the people manage to do something, you ask? Probably not, would be the answer, if they are on a low level of consciousness. But if people have reached such a level of consciousness that they know that some sort of fighting is necessarily for self-preservation, then people will succeed. And later we will say which kind of fight have to be. And especially good if among people there are such individuals, there are such people who are able to use modern technologies or to describe to us what to do and how, or what is happening. Here it is now necessary to further explain the symbolism of Mars, which is slowly becoming a key factor. Namely, part of the planetary game around the full moon is the planet Mars, which symbolizes struggle, will, and perseverance. Mars moves into the sign of Gemini on August 21st. It is retrograde in the same sign from October 31st to January 13, when it becomes direct again and exits this sign on March 25th, 2023. Mars will be most dangerous, let's say, in Gemini during its retrograde period, so from the end of October until the 13th of January. But that will be the chance to learn something, of course. So what does Mars in Gemini mean? Let's see that. Gemini represents a certain superficiality, but also practicality. It is not able to create bigger vision, but has the ability to act pragmatically and efficiently. It is shallow sign, very simple, but very fast and accurate. When Mars is here, he fights with the words intelligently, by having the right information and by being able to say the right information. So this is not the fight with guns Of course, it can be the fight on satellites with modern informative technology, or it can be some sort of fight where people are using knowledge. Mars here is very quick, it's eloquent, writes pamphlets, it's an excellent reader and propagator. This means that the fight should be waged intelligently, with knowledge or by using the law, persistently, and through all possible medias. Our enemies will be very rhetorical and will be breaking through the media for the next 8 months also. So we need to find people who will represent us and who will speak for us, let's say like that. One would ask if there are going to be restrictions with this. Yes, it's possible that there are going to be restrictions. They are preparing that. But people should know how to react on these restrictions. So if people just scream on the streets and then they go to sleep, this is not going to be the good way to fight for the rights. The good way would be in an intelligent way, by knowing exactly what they are doing and how to present the right information in the right place. So I guess that there will be new governments formed by many nations and in many countries. People will just gather, they create new government, they accept new law, and then they say, okay, goodbye with that what it was for, until now in the parliament. However, the question arises whether there are also good aspects during this full moon that can help things to develop in a positive way. The answer is yes, of course, there are always some good aspects. Here now, Neptune makes sextiles with planets in Taurus. This means that all those who know how to use this very deep and irrational energy of Neptune and are able to be at the same time quick and practical as Mars in Gemini is, they will reach economical stability. I remind you that Neptune in our time means not only spiritual life, but also IT technology, nanotechnology, and any kind of machine control by human thought or by artificial intelligence. You will wonder if there are such people, groups, or nations who can put together all these extraordinary abilities to connect, like Neptunian and Mercurian energy. And the answer is yes, of course. There are such people in the world, and I leave you to discover who they are. By the way, Mars was last time retrograde in Gemini in 1990, from the 21st of October until the end of the year. Before that, it was retrograde in Gemini in 1958, before that in 1943, and so on. If you want to look for historical parallels, you will have plenty of material for that during the fall to analyze if there are parallels and what is going to happen. Gemini is the sign of travel, usually associated with short trips, excursions, maybe cycling, or just moving. People who have Mars in Gemini are usually constantly traveling or constantly moving around in not far places. If there really are going to be more closing or so-called lockdowns for people, or maybe border closing for transport, people will bear this harder than before. From September the 10th, Mercury, the ruler of Mars in Gemini, is also going to be retrograde. So troubles in September. Because that can mean limiting movement, which would further produce neuroses and psychological liability for many. Because in general, a transit of Mars through Gemini means increased mental activity. And in retrograde movement of Mars and Mercury, this can cause mental problems to many humans because they can't move in the way they want. However, we very much need Mars in Gemini now We needed to understand what is happening and not to be mentally weak. On the contrary, we can become stronger with this aspect and understand numerous tricks and manipulations that somebody is using to manipulate human mind. We can also learn with this aspect how to have common sense and how to communicate with people from the position of the healthy common sense. So not to be confused by the information that are completely false. You will remember that we said that from June to the end of October 2022, we can expect some agreements at the highest level regarding the further division of interest in the world. I said that maybe leaders of big world countries will meet, as it was last year in summer. There is still no major news about this. We don't know much. They are not telling us what is happening, but I guess such thing we would hear. So nothing for now. Maybe that will be when Saturn finishes at its retrograde period. That will be the end of October. Or maybe we will wait for the turn of 22 and the first months of 2023, when Saturn will be going out from Aquarius and entering Pisces. In that time, like at the end of this year and the beginning of the next year, Saturn-Uranus square will also be weaker. So we are going to the end of all this. By the way, to mention the square again, square between Uranus and Saturn, this square is starting to grow now and becoming stronger from August 2022, and it culminates in October and November of this year, and after that it slowly weakens. And this is definitely one of the key aspects that indicates both the limitation of people's freedom and the anarchy of the representatives of the old system, who do not understand that the old time cannot be kept by force. Likewise, this square inhibits sudden and destructive processes symbolized by Uranus in Taurus, which can lead to the destruction of biological life on Earth. Oh yeah, the new moon in Virgo on August 27, marks the beginning of something new. You will be very surprised, but the 40th degree of Virgo is very warlike. All signs of the zodiac have degrees that sometimes mean something completely different than the sign itself. This is an excellent degree that represents decisiveness in battle, effectiveness, and decision-making ability. All those people who have planets around the 4th degree of Virgo will be very active in the 6 months to come and be very effective, maybe in a professional way. However, the Sun and the Moon are during this new moon in a square to Mars, which will already be in Gemini by that time. So again, because of this square, we again see some obstacle. Simply, nothing goes easily for us now. But there is a good aspect between Mars and Mercury, which means that everything is easier for those who are Mercurian types. Generally, Mercurian types of people are luckier than others in harsh times. Why? Because they are flexible, efficient, they are very fast, they can make decisions without thinking, they can make deals that are good enough, they don't ask for too much. Sometimes they are not really honest, but sometimes that's good. For some people that's good, they're not honest, so they make the deal and they just go on. So such people will be quite lucky or luckier than others. Then Venus is going to be in Leo from August 11th. When Venus is in Leo, art flourishes, beauty, also everything that is connected with aesthetics, love for children develops, great ideals in love also appear. Leo people, or all of those, especially all of those who have planets around the 18th degree of Leo, will be more comfortable in the second half of August. They will even, and maybe September also, they will have the opportunity to buy or sell well in the next 6 months, possibly will increase the value of their work, either it's creative or any other work. The same aspect will be very beneficial for Libra and for Taurus people. And that is all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and all that I mentioned, all of those videos other that I mentioned here are under this video on YouTube. There you will find links in the description of the video, all of the links. Of course, you can schedule personal consultations with me. Just please remember that I'm not dealing with classical astrology, as I always say. I'm involved in personal development, self-knowledge, astrological psychology, spiritual astrology. I also offer consultancy based on Thetahealing, which is the method of some sort of energetically spiritual healing. And I also offer consultancy based on Feng Shui. If you like the video, like it, sign up for my channel. Thank you very, very much for that in advance, or share the video with others. I wish you happiness. I wish you to be ready for the flexibility, and I wish you to be very, very happy until our next video. See you soon.